Well, friends, it has been a couple of months since we gave you a significant update on what's happening with our ministry and with our campus. And so I have gathered my partners in crime, Mark Slaughter and Jason Cramey, to talk a little bit about where we are and where we're heading and what we're thinking, knowing that everything changes quickly. So we're going to talk about some plans that we're making, but I'm going to tell you from the top, we're going to keep our pulse on what's happening in the world and particularly locally. And we may have to change plans yet again. So hold all things loosely. And so we've had ministry happening from the minute we heard the word COVID. Church has not stopped. Church has not closed. In fact, we've done some remarkable ministry that has reached all sorts of people we've never reached before during this period of time. And so God, once again, has been just so remarkably faithful in all of this. So people talk about church closing, and while the physical campus has been closed, church as the body of Christ has not. And so what we're really talking about today is not restarting ministry, because ministry never stopped, but reopening campus and what that looks like. So we've had our preschool operational, and things have gone well there, and we've had Mission Outpost operational. And while that's been certainly challenging, our team has stepped up to the plate and continued to deliver needed goods and services to people in our community. And we have felt that now it's time to begin to continue ministry, but begin to do some of that ministry on campus again. And so let's start with Jason, the newly ordained Reverend Jason Cramey. Jason's still super pumped about that. Hope you are too. I hope you don't have buyer's remorse already. But what's happening with family ministry? What does moving to on-campus ministry look like?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, we are excited to add to our online ministry some on-campus ministry. So starting on October 7th, we will have our student ministry on campus. And it's going to look a little bit different than it has in the past. It'll be a smaller group, 2 groups, limited space and numbers for each one of those groups. So they'll do a little bit of alternating. But they'll experience a lot of the precautions that they would normally see as they head into school each day. So we're temperature checking them at the door, wearing PPE, and one way in, one way out, and cleaning the space in between their gatherings. And so student ministry, yeah, we're excited to get them on campus and to add to what we're already doing online. Confirmation, for those of you that don't know, is a big part of what we do in family ministry. And this fall, we have 3 different groups of confirmation students that are meeting with me every week on Zoom. And we're going to continue to do that. And children's ministry is going to, for the time being, continue being an online ministry. And we've been really excited about what we've been able to create. All the families that we've been able to invite into that way of doing ministry, it's enabled us to be unbelievably creative and to reach people and parents and families at all hours of the day. We call it Wow at Home, and they can access it whenever they want. So we plan to continue doing that. Lots going on, but we are excited about adding to what we're already doing.
So Jason, not that anybody at Prince Peace would think this way, but maybe somebody with some twisted thinking would say, so we're using our students like canaries in the coal mine. We're going to send them in, and if they survive, then we'll begin to do other things. How is that not the case?
Well, so what's interesting about, I think, that idea is that it assumes that the students don't know what they're doing. Our students are the most skilled at navigating social spaces safely. And the reason for that is they have been training, in a sense, since the beginning of the school year. So they've been going to school, many of them, in a hybrid model, and they have learned how to move about the space and interact with one another in a safe way. And so in reality, they are our most skilled people. It's mostly the adults that need some learning, and that if there's anyone I would be concerned about, it would actually be them. It's not the students.
Dr. Slaughter, are you offended by that at all? So Jason, we're bringing some of our student ministry on campus. Why not children's ministry?
Yeah, so what's unique about student ministry compared to children's ministry is that the students are able to police themselves as they move about the space in a little bit more consistent of a way. The second thing is, when you think about the people that students need in their lives developmentally, those relationships happen to be with their peers. Like, it's not as if they don't need their parents, but a crucial part of their development and a real reason why they feel lonely when they feel lonely is because they don't have access to their buddies. And a lot of our kids have been in these small groups with their friends for not a few years. And so the real reason we're trying to get student ministry together is so that they can get back into relationship with their peers. And also, we know that they can do it safely. So that's why we decided to do that before children's ministry.
Good. Will there be some online student ministry still for maybe kids who don't feel comfortable, or the parents don't feel comfortable connecting in person on campus yet?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been running online student ministry since March. We didn't take a break at all this summer. And it's actually become a really great resource for students who call Prince of Peace home and for students who don't. And so two things, it's enabled us to be available to a lot of people who just wouldn't register for family ministry at all. And so we're really excited about that. And it creates a library that our students can go and draw upon whenever they want to. The second thing is that for those families and students that don't feel comfortable coming on campus, it enables them to remain connected to the ministry. And again, I don't want to give anyone the impression that online student ministry is not student ministry, or that it's like sort of the side hustle to real student ministry. It's the real deal. They're getting real connection. And even if a portion of their group wants to meet on campus, welcome to the 21st century, everybody. We have FaceTime, we have Microsoft Teams, we have Google Meets, we have a whole host of ways that we can gather the students digitally. So we're ready for it, we're built for it, and we're excited to do it.
So every time I've been to on-campus ministry with student ministry, they're just hanging out and they're loving each other and connecting. Are there going to be opportunities before, during, or after for multiple small groups to hang together?
No, not this year. This year, what we're going to focus on is staying open, keeping on-campus ministry viable. And for us to do that, we have to do the same things that the schools are doing in order to keep themselves open. And that means limiting those kind of cross groups, cross social interactions before and after student ministry. And so you're going to come into the building, you're going to go straight to your small group space or up into the sanctuary, and then you're going to move right into your small group space with your small group. And here's the deal. This isn't as if it is a huge limiting barrier for students in social relationships. Students have been gathering with their friends online in a whole variety of ways before the pandemic. And so Snapchat still exists, Twitter still exists, Facebook still exists, Instagram still exists, and it will exist while we do this.
But maybe not TikTok.
Well, that is to be determined, isn't it?
So we've got kids from multiple school districts, and different districts are doing school in different ways. Does that impact at all how we do on-campus ministry?
Well, the upside to having so many kids from different districts is that we have been able to watch them open up, and we have been able to learn and take bits and pieces of their strategies and approaches that make sense for us, and we've used them. And so mostly it hasn't impeded our progress of creating and adding on this on-campus feature of our ministry, but rather it's made us be smarter with it all. It's really helped us to look at how everyone else has tried stuff. We've watched the ways in which they have failed. We've seen their successes, and we've decided, hey, what can we take and use in our own ministry?
Awesome. Anything else that you want to share regarding family ministry?
Well, I just want to let folks know that we exist in a community where there are many, many, many families that don't have a church home. And we also have many families that do have a church home that is not able to provide the same kinds of resources that we're able to provide. And we are not out to hog all the Christians in our community, never, not one bit. But we do want to make sure that everyone in our community has access to faith-filled influence whenever and wherever they are. And so I just want to let our families know, spread the good news. You know, we are alive and well and open and doing the thing, and we'd love to have anybody who wants to grow in their faith, wants to get connected, join us.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Mhm.
Mark Slaughter, what are we thinking about with worship on campus?
Well, we're thinking that we're getting close to time for that to be able to happen again. So we're looking forward to it. Right now, we're anticipating Reformation Sunday as being our first time to gather on campus for worship, and so we're looking forward to getting everyone back together. Those who feel like they can come, we're looking forward to that.
And let's be clear, that's Sunday, November the 1st. Is that correct?
Right. November 1st, Sunday, November 1st, time still to be determined exactly right now, but we'll have more information about that in the next few days.
Yeah. Will we continue online worship as well?
Absolutely. We feel like that online worship is really here to stay. This whole ability to be able to worship no matter where you are, if you're here in town, or if you're out of town. If you're a part of our congregation and you worship with us normally, or you're someone that's maybe looking for a congregation or a place to worship. So we just feel like there's a dynamic to online worship that is really powerful. And so we want to continue to provide these meaningful online worship experiences with the hope that this becomes really a permanent part of our worship offering at Prince of Peace.
Will our online worship be a pre-recorded service as it has been, or are we going to live stream our on-campus worship?
Yeah, really, really great question. I think one of the things that we've learned in this process is that online worship is different than on-campus worship and how we present it. And so we want to continue to provide online worship just like we've been doing. Meaningful moments of worship, great preaching, compelling music, all those kinds of things. We want to continue all those things in our online offering. To go to a recording on campus worship and then showing that via live stream for our online community is something that's going to take us a while. We might get there at some point, but the technology and the skills and the volunteers that are going to be able to make that happen, we're still a little ways away from that. So we'll see how that comes. We may be able to get to that place at some point, but we're not there yet.
So what are some of the precautions that we're going to be taking to keep people safe as they return to on-campus ministry?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've kind of all have grown accustomed to new normals. You know, how many times have you gotten out of the car and walked into the store and had to go back to your car to get your mask? I mean, these are the things.
3 times today.
Yeah, it's like the new normal for us. And so how we interact with people in public, how do we go into public places, we've kind of all grown accustomed to many of the protocols that have been put in place. And so we're obviously going to operate out of those same protocols, requiring people to wear masks at all times in worship. We're going to maintain social distancing. So it's, both things. It's wear the mask and do the social distancing. Just again, the abundance of caution. We're going to be sure the building is clean and sanitized between and before every worship service. We're going to encourage people to make reservations prior to coming to worship. We'll have a complete online system and also a phone call. You can call the church office and make a reservation. But it's going to be really important that people register for worship because we can only have 250 people as our maximum number. And so we don't want people coming to worship and then getting turned away because there's no more, we're at capacity. So we'll have this online registration, and we'll want to encourage people to take advantage of that as well, because we don't want to go beyond our 250 people threshold.
Right. Yeah, fellowship is such an important part of being in community when we're on campus and doing on-campus worship. How is the worship experience and fellowship going to look different as people return to on-campus worship?
It's definitely be different. I think in light of what we've all been experiencing again over the last 6 months, we've all interacted with friends. We've seen people at the grocery store. We've had conversations, but it's different. And I think that much of that experience will carry over into our on-campus worship. We know we've missed each other. It's been difficult to be apart. We also know that there's, not adequate space or certainly time, because we really want to be sure we can usher people out so we can get prepared for the next service. Right. So we're going to just encourage people to come in, take their seats, maybe give everybody a good wave and say hello to folks. We still want to continue that community experience, but at the same time, we want to keep people safe. So we'll actually usher people to their seats. The ushers will take you to your seats, and then we'll dismiss people in the congregation by rows, just again to avoid bottlenecks and just keep the flow of people moving and those kinds of things.
And as I understand it, we're going to be sending out those details as that November 1st date approaches, so that people have all the detailed information of what we need to do in order to engage in on-campus worship.
Right. Our communications team is preparing a video that will take you through all the steps you'll need to make. It's even going to let you be able to see inside the sanctuary how it's going to look different, because it's going to look different when you think of our sanctuary, which normally has around 1,000 chairs, and there's going to be like 230 chairs, and they'll be all spread out. So that's going to be, that's going to look really different than what we're all used to. But we just want to be sure that the video that we provide for you gives you the necessary information and prepares you as well as we possibly can for this on-campus worship experience.
Mark, anything else you want to say about on-campus worship?
I think the final thing I would say is that we're going to work really hard. We're going to be very diligent. We're going to be very prayerful to provide meaningful and spiritually uplifting worship for everyone who visits us, whether it's on campus or online. I don't want anyone to think that it's going to feel sterile or perfunctory or just going through the motions. We're going to have dynamic music. We'll have powerful preaching, and we'll have moments where we can even turn around and wave at someone. We're going to be spending time in prayer together as a congregation. It's going to be much like it was before, but not exactly like it was before. So then the online worship will still be another dynamic offering as well, and continue to make that what it's been, and improve on it as we can. So those are the things I would say. And just the other thing I would say is that we're all learning and all growing through this together, that we've never been here before, and this is all new territory. So just patience with our staff and with all of us as we try to make the best decisions for everyone's sake. And then just come ready with your hearts overflowed, ready to worship, ready to have an experience that's really life-giving, whether that's on campus or online. Worship is a primary function of our spiritual formation. And so we hope you'll take advantage of one of our offerings, whether it's online or on campus, and continue to grow in your faith through these challenging times, and know that we're working hard to help put things in place for you to be able to do those things.
Oh, good. Thank you. A word to some of our disciples who desperately would like to be back in worship on campus, but at the same time may not necessarily feel safe in doing so. Maybe they're in that high-risk group, and there's some guilt, I think, in some people about that. And I want to say to you, please feel comfortable not attending at this point in time. That's why we do online worship. That is worship for us. And so I don't want you to feel guilty or pressured as we move forward. And that goes for families with students as well. We want people to be in a place of being comfortable so that we are free to learn and grow and worship together. So please keep your own pulse of how you're feeling about your level of safety. For some people, it's no big deal to them. For others, it is a big deal. And neither is right or wrong. Where you are is right for you. And so please stay attuned to that reality. And whenever we gather back on campus in ministry, let's be highly respectful of one another and to live in care for one another, because living in care for one another is the call of the gospel on our lives. And it's also a way that we care for our neighbor. We want to be a part of the movement of being good neighbors. Our campus will be opening. There will be somebody at the front desk before too terribly long, but many of our staff will continue to work from home if that's a functional thing for them to do. So if you want to connect with a staff member, please call the church office and we'll find a way to get you connected. We ask that at this point in time, you don't just drop by the church to say hi. We're going to keep some sense of distance there, but know that there will be some open hours coming in the near future. Two final things. First, a word to our staff or about our staff and the remarkable work that our staff has done during this time of crisis. God forbid anybody thinks that the staff has been sitting at home eating bonbons and enjoying a vacation simply because we're not on campus. Nothing could be further from the truth. Their faithfulness in thinking deeply, carefully, and prayerfully to pivot in ministry has been inspiring to me. And for those of you that have been enjoying online worship and online ministry with family ministry and other ministries, you're aware of the quality of ministry that's been happening through our staff at Prince of Peace. So people like Jason, like Mark, inordinate amount of hours and thought to make sure that we're doing things well and right for your safety and to be able to honor our call to be the church. So I'm so grateful and so proud of our staff. I can't overstate that. But I'm also really grateful for you, people of God, and your faithfulness. To so many of you who have written notes of encouragement to our staff, knowing that this is a challenging time, those of you who have been faithful in your giving, those of you who have actually started the journey of being faithful financial partners with us in ministry, you have kept this ministry not just alive, but thriving in these challenging times. And so I can't overstate my gratitude and the gratitude of all of our staff for your faithfulness during this time. It's such a joy to be a part of a community of faith that responds the way that you have during a challenging time. What a testament to your faithfulness and to the faithfulness of God in our midst. Mark, Jason, any closing words?
No, just I look forward to seeing everyone either face-to-face or online. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us, email us, you can call us, leave a voicemail. We get those voicemails on immediately, so we'd love to stay connected with folks. And just know that we're praying for you, our congregation, praying for you guys on a regular basis and trying to do our best to support each other through this time.
Good. Jason, anything?
It's so fun to be sort of in the shoes of a new mission start, is it not? Like, we get to go plant a church on campus now and use all of those skills. Like, just not so long ago, we celebrated 50 some years, and all the clock, it's at 1 now. And I'm so pumped to learn and to grow and to be a young church again. Let's go.
It is a good time to be church. It truly, truly is. Yeah. Well, friends, thank you for tuning in. If you have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you have a need, for some of you, it's gotten more difficult, not easier. And we want you to know that we're here for you. So contact us, contact our spiritual care team, our mission outpost, one of us on the pastoral staff, and let us know how we can walk with you. Thanks again for tuning in. May God bless you and keep you. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.